Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to week 13. I hope you guys all had a lovely Thanksgiving weekend. We're going to hang out here for a little bit. I'll answer all your start sit questions shortly. I'm going to read the player news, actives and actives, all that good stuff. And yeah, good morning, good day. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm in Milwaukee, and we got 12 inches of snow yesterday. So I was shoveling and doing a lot of work. So I'm exhausted, ready to settle in and watch some good football today. Good morning, Tony. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get some of these active and active news out of the way, and then I'll answer start-sit questions or talk about whatever we want to look at. Baker Mayfield, that report came out yesterday that he's expected to play. So good news there. It sounds like a solid chance for Marvin Harrison Jr. to play. That's the word they use, solid. So we'll see what happens there. Frank Ragnow will not play for the Lions after failing his physical with a hamstring strain. So that's a unfortunate thing for the Lions. They're hoping to get some offensive line boost. I'm seeing Tyler Warren, who we were watching the last day or two with an illness. He was added to the injury report yesterday. It looks like he's good to go today. He's going to be playing. Darren Waller will be activated today. I think he's going to give it a go. I don't know if I'm going to recommend starting him, but if he's out there, I think he's worth a tight end spot if you need it. You could pick him up today and see what happens, because he's one of those guys that, man, if he goes out and catches, 4 for 40 to touchdown, we're talking about him on the waiver wire. So if you want to check out Darren Waller, not a bad stash as we get here into the fantasy playoffs shortly. Wow, Asante Samuel Jr. elevated from the practice squad. So good to see there for the Steelers. On the Titans, you have Chico Okonkwo and Alec Ayomaner, both expected to play. Bam Knight for the Cardinals, expected to play. It's going to be Bam Knight and Michael Carter for the Cardinals backfield. Chris Olave is optimistic that he can play. I'll look at that report here shortly. Aaron Rodgers will play today with the 3 fractures in his left wrist. Jalen McMillan, Tampa Bay wide receiver, expected to begin practicing next week, I suppose. And then let's see here. I'm going to hit refresh on my feeds and see if I can get you guys some more player news here. But yeah, good morning, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with me this morning. Chris Olave officially active. Bam Knight officially active. Marvin Harrison officially active. Both Titans, Okonkwo and Ayomaner, both active. And yeah, Baker Mayfield officially active as well. Keon Coleman active after kind of getting a soft benching the last couple weeks. So good news there. And hey, let's get into it. Good morning, Harris. I see you in there. Hope you are having a great Thanksgiving weekend. And we're doing good, man. I had a crazy weekend. So yesterday, Milwaukee, parts of Illinois, we got hit. We got 12 inches of snow. I measured it with my tape measure. So I was shoveling 3 or 4 times yesterday just to kind of keep up with it. And then this morning was not fun. It was not fun with the plows hitting us. So it was a rough 24 hours. And then I had a stupid error. I've been remodeling my house, and I replaced the toilet in the basement, and the shutoff valve was not working. And I had to call, ended up messing with it, ended up leaking, had to call a plumber. So we had a plumber emergency visit, snow, craziness, and now I just want some football. I'm exhausted. But we're doing great. Good morning again, Double Tap. Full PPR reflects in Rico, Tootin, or DK. I think you got to go Rico here. I think Tootin, we want Tootin to be more than what he's been. He's been very unpredictable. I do love the matchup against Tennessee today. It's in Tennessee. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars, your 6th seed Jacksonville Jaguars, they're going to be looking good today against the Titans. I think Brian Thomas Jr. back, Brenton Strange, Jacoby Myers. This is our first time able to see all 3 of those guys on the field together. And Tootin, he's got the second best odds for a touchdown in that game. Travis Etienne's plus 100, Tootin's plus 180, and then all the receivers and the other players are there. So I think Tootin's got a chance to play well today and get a touchdown, but I don't think I'm going to take that over Dowdle. And then DK, Jameer DK is plus 285 to score. Let's look at his receiving props real quick. I'm seeing Jameer DK 3.5 receptions. It's kind of even. So they're saying between 3 and 4 catches, and then his yards are about 34.5. So you're looking at a 7 to 10 point floor for DK. I think you just take the Rico Dowdle game. And I know it's a tough game against the Rams. The Rams really good against pretty much everybody in every position. But Rico Dowdle is still plus 120 to score a touchdown. He's catching passes. I'm looking at his combined receiving yards right now. they're kind of giving him 80 yards. So that 80 yards is equivalent to the DK props, Chimere DK props. So I'm going to go with Rico Dowdle here pretty easily. He's been catching passes. They might have to play catch up, which could lead, to 3-4 catches. So we're going to stick with Rico Dowdle here, double tap. And Harris coming in with the Juwan Pitts Ertz. I really want Kyle Pitts to do something because we're gonna get the freaking New York Jets today. And no Drake London. The Jets they're middle of the road against tight end, but they have allowed 7 touchdowns, which is tied for second most tight end touchdowns in the league. They're giving up about 13 points per game to the tight end. So I do like Pitts today, but I have a feeling Juwan Johnson's probably where you want to be against Miami. The Dolphins are the third worst team against tight ends this season. They're allowing almost 17 points per game to the tight end position. We got a little bit of a dinged up Olave with the back thing. I'm going to probably go with Juwan Johnson here. I don't hate Zach Ertz. I kind of view Zach Ertz and Kyle Pitts as like fringe tight end ones. I'm going to have Juwan Johnson ranked higher for me, though. So let's go Juwan Johnson today. It's a great matchup. Juwan's been playing good football. Yeah, we're going to go Juwan Johnson tonight. Yeah. Oh, over Waddle. Okay. And Michael Wilson today. So I'm not quite sure how to read the Arizona Cardinals because we do like them today with Jacoby Brissett against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's defense just has not really been that great. They're actually they rank 30th. They're giving up the third most points per game to the quarterback position, about 20 points per game. So there's going to be points had in that game. And against receivers here, Tampa Bay ranks 27th, giving up about 35.5 points per game to the receiver position. So Marvin, Michael Wilson, if they both get, 14, 15 points, I'm not going to be surprised. It's going to come down to who catches a touchdown there. And then Jalen Waddle on his front going up against, who do the Dolphins play? They play the Saints. The Saints are actually okay. They're middle of the road against wide receiver. So in theory, it's not crazy to play Michael Wilson over Waddle. I'm going to have Waddle ranked higher than Michael Wilson. But Michael Wilson's just been so hot. I think that could stay sticky and keep it going. But my ranking, I'm going to play Waddle over Wilson, but you got to trust your gut there, Chase. PPR Hall or Warren? Half PPR Hall or Jalen Warren? Let me look at my fantasy points per game here. Buffalo, they're 30th against the running back position. They give up 26 points per game. They've allowed the most rushing touchdowns on the season with 14. To me, man, I think the Steelers really need this game. Breece Hall against the Falcons. The Falcons are pretty bad themselves against the running back position. They're actually one below Buffalo. They rank 29th. So these are both really good spots here, but I think I'm going to take that chance with Jalen Warren. And I know Kenneth Gainwell's been catching passes and things like that, but I still think Warren has a chance for a touchdown. Let me look at those touchdown odds between the guys. And I've said it a few times the last few weeks, but it's always a good idea to go to DraftKings Sportsbook or FanDuel, whatever sportsbook, and just look when it comes down to like a tough question like this. I like to look at who's got the better touchdown odd. And Jalen Warren's plus 140 for a touchdown, which is fairly decent odds. He's got the third best odds in that game. He's got the best odds as a Steeler to score a touchdown. And then you have Breece Hall here plus 140. So they're identical. Let me look at the rushing receiving total props here for these two. They got Breece Hall at 72.5 total yards. And then let's take a look here at Jalen Warren. I've got Jalen Warren at 78.5. So 6 more yards, equal touchdown odds. I think I take that matchup against Buffalo. So Jalen Warren. And hey, good morning to Frosty. Browns or Texans D? Did you guys see that video of Daniel Jones trying to just do a simple drop back? It didn't look good, I'll tell you that. And we just saw the Texans sack Josh Allen 8 times on Thursday Night Football 2 Thursdays ago. I'm not afraid of playing the Texans today. I know it's Jonathan Taylor, but Daniel Jones, he's got a broken leg, essentially, is what we're dealing with here. If I just look at my rankings real quick, I'm not afraid to play the Texans. I do like the Browns today, but the 49ers got a lot of weapons, man. I think I'm going to shy away from the Browns. The Texans are the best defense in the league. I'm going to stick with the Texans here. And I know this game's in Indianapolis, but I still have a good feeling about everything. Let me just look at the point spread here. Because I think both games are going to be low scoring. But man, I think you take the potential for sacks. And Daniel Jones has been on a little turnover bender lately. This game's got 44.5 points in it. Indy's favored by 3. Cleveland game, 35.5. Man, I think the 49ers win this game. I think the Texans have a chance to win. I'm going to go Texans D here. I've always been interested in Michael Wilson because I always thought he was a good receiver, and just Kyler Murray is just such a bad quarterback that he's not able to lock these guys on the outside. And Jacoby Brissett comes in, and all of a sudden we're unlocking the outside receivers here. So I think Michael Wilson looks pretty good. I think from a long-term standpoint, this offense needs a number 2 receiver, and he's showing that he can be the guy. We're going to see how it looks with Marvin Harrison today. So I'm pretty impressed with Michael Wilson. I'd like to think he remains in that 5 to 8 target range today with Marvin in the lineup. And yeah, he's been fantastic. He's been one of the best receivers in fantasy football the last couple of weeks. So very impressed with Mr. Wilson. I think Rico's going to be good today, man. Rico's been since the Chuba injury, Rico Dowdle's been maybe one of a top 5 back in the NFL for fantasy. So we love Rico Dowdle. I know the numbers have not been as good lately, but he's still humming along. He's got 5 yards per carry. He's double digits pretty much every single game. Hasn't scored a touchdown in 2 games. So maybe he's due for one of those, two touchdown games, Frosty. I could see Rico having a nice game today. Kirk Cousins over Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, they're both not great options. I think Tyrod, I'm just the weapons, man. It's John Mechie and Adonai Mitchell and Mason Taylor. I like Breece Hall, but I am concerned that there's just not enough juice there. And the Jets, they're allowing 17.5 points per game to the quarterback position. They've allowed 18 touchdowns in 11 games. So you're looking at 1.5 touchdowns for Kirk. Obviously not going to get any rushing upside, but the Falcons are a good team against quarterback. They rank 12th, about 16 points per game. This one's in New York. I expect Kirk Cousins to kind of remain steady. And for me, Tyrod, I do like Tyrod Taylor, but for some reason, I trust Atlanta to win this game. Let me just look at Tyrod's numbers last week. Tyrod played really well last week, actually. 222 yards, a touchdown. Did throw a pick, but he does run the ball too. So maybe there is something to that safety of his rushing floor. Let me look at Kirk Cousins real quick. Cousins last week at New Orleans threw for 2 touchdowns. He did run 2 for 5 yards, and he threw for 200 yards. The Jets defense is bad, and I think Atlanta wins this game. Just Bijan, Pitts, Darnell Mooney. I think we don't know if Tyrod's even going to throw a touchdown in this game. I do think Cousins gets 1, maybe 2. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. I think Cousins is just going to be more stable. And the fantasy points per game say that we should play against the Jets. I don't really like the Bucs D when healthy. They haven't been good all year. They probably do have a nice schedule coming up though. So let me just look at this real quick. I mean, they're going to get New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina, Miami. So I think it's worth holding on to them. Atlanta and New Orleans, both those games the next 2 weeks are at home. They really just have not been a good fantasy defense, really, if you think about it, all season here. They are technically a top 10 defense in some scoring formats. So maybe they're worth holding on to. I don't know if I would play them this week, but they are doing fine. They're fine in sacks. They don't have a ton of takeaways here, but they're okay, I will say. So maybe if they do get healthier, they'll be a good defense here down the stretch. And they need to get on their horse here because they're getting some heat from Carolina. And if Atlanta wins today, that's not out of the question for them to make a run. Pitts, Ertz, Stevenson, Knight, Spears, Kupp, pick 2. I'm not taking Cooper Kupp here, Harris. I don't really want to go Tajay Spears either. I think I'm playing the tight ends, Pitts and Ertz, honestly. Stevenson, the touches are all going to Henderson right now. You're banking on a touchdown from Ramondre, which the touchdown odds for Ramondre are probably pretty good. They did try to hammer him in for a touchdown last week. He just couldn't get it in. Let me look at his touchdown odds for tomorrow night. And he's plus 205 to score, so I don't love that as much. I think I'm going to tight ends, Pitts and Ertz tonight for Ertz, noon game for Pitts. I think Bam Knight could be interesting, but he's been really dinged up. He left that game a couple times last week. I think I'm going with the tight ends here. I'm a huge Jalen Warren fan, but I think it's Kenneth Walker this week for me. Just against the Vikings, we're starting to see Kenneth Walker get more and more opportunities than Zach Charbonnet. Even if he doesn't get a touchdown, I still like Kenneth Walker's floor. He's been a guy that's been frustrating to own all season, but the last 2 weeks, there's been a slight shift towards Kenneth Walker's favor. And the thing that I like about Walker is they're starting to throw the ball again to him, which he was so good at that last year. He's had 3 catches in both the last 2 games, 30 and 44 receiving yards. So we're looking at a nice PPR floor for Kenneth Walker. And honestly, with Kenneth Gainwell catching all the passes, like I think I'm going Kenneth Walker. Let me look at his touchdown odds in this one. We saw Jalen Warren was plus 140 earlier today. I got Kenneth Walker here at plus 130. So slightly better touchdown odds. And I think his involvement in the receiving game has been a nice little perk. His total combined rushing plus receiving yards is at 84.5, which was better than Brees and Jalen Warren. Better touchdown odds. I think I'm going with Kenneth Walker. And Michelle, one fact is I'm related to Josh Allen. That's pretty cool. That's very cool. We got a Josh Allen family member on the show. So thank you for joining us, Michelle. I appreciate you. Wan'Dale Robinson, sleeper of the year. Yeah, dude. He was, the Mickey Mouse gimmicky PPR guy last year, but he's showing that he's more than that this season. He's a deep threat. He can do a lot of fun things with the ball in space. Wan'Dale Robinson, kind of one of those MVP waiver wire pickups that we don't really get too often. And I was able to pick up Wan'Dale week 1 in my most important league. I'm not any good in that league, but he's been one of my best players. Wan'Dale Robinson, a lot of respect for him. I think the matchup for Denver tonight is fantastic. Washington, they ranked 28th against the quarterback, giving up about 20 points per game. I think Bo Nix is throwing 2 touchdowns in this one. I saw his over-under was like 1.5 for passing touchdowns, and I'm taking the over on that. Washington does also rank 30th against the wide receiver position. They don't give up a ton of touchdowns, though. They've only given up 13, which is kind of middle of the road. But yeah, I think Sutton is due, coming off a bye. I expect him to be in good shape. Bounce back, not like a wide receiver 1 game, but I expect Sutton to be a valuable asset today. Let's look at this weather today, NFL weather. And again, the Midwest got hammered yesterday, all day with the snow. Let's see here. Cleveland, likely snow, 20-mile-per-hour winds. I think McCaffrey and the short passing game is going to be there for the 49ers. So that doesn't bother me too much. I'm seeing Tennessee, Jacksonville weather looks good. Indianapolis is in a dome, so that's a good game. Slight chance of rain down in Miami today. Likely rain in New York. It's going to be about 40 degrees, so no snow, but some rain potential. Tampa Bay looks fantastic. That Arizona-Tampa Bay game. So I like breaking ties for that one because it looks like it's 80 degrees in Tampa Bay. That might be a good game to pick on and get some DFS spots because I can see both games kind of going back and forth. Carolina, we're looking at a chance of rain, but about 50 degrees. Cloudy in Seattle. That's fine. Pittsburgh's mostly cloudy. Chargers games in a dome. And then we got partly cloudy tonight for Washington. Chance of snow in New England tomorrow night. So some bad weather in Cleveland, but everything else looks fairly manageable. That one feels really good to me. We just saw a crazy game last week where Shedeur Sanders had some big plays downfield. I could see the Chargers and Justin Herbert having a really good passing game today. Ladd McConkey, give me the over on 4 receptions. So when I did my props, when I looked it up, Diggs was at like 43.5, and I'm like, hell yeah, he's going over that. It looks like it's climbing a little bit, but I think Diggs is such a weird guy. Usually in a primetime game, it's a Diggs game. So I think Diggs easily goes over 48 and a half. I think he's more towards 70, 80 yards in this one. So that feels pretty easy for him. Stephon Diggs over for sure. Tez or Adonai Mitchell. I think both guys are pretty similar value-wise. I do like Adonai Mitchell just because, Tez Johnson's going against Igbuka, Mike Evans coming back, Chris Godwin's back. We're going to get Jalen McMillan back, and they do spread the ball around in Tampa Bay. And Tez he's not really a possession receiver. He's a boom bust kind of touchdown guy. So just with the stuff coming his way, we didn't really get an update on Mike Evans yet, so I don't know when he's coming back, but I just know Adonai Mitchell is going to continue to get those number 1, number 2 receiver reps. I would rather hold on to Adonai Mitchell, but it's close, kind of a preference call, but they're both in the same kind of bucket for me. Hey, good morning to David. Hope you're doing well, my man. So I do feel pretty good about Devin Neal today. Let's take a look at his I'm going to pull up his props for today. Let's look at his touchdown odds. They have Taysom Hill as the most likely New Orleans Saint to score today at plus 195. Devin Neal is plus 255 for a touchdown. Let's look at his rushing receiving numbers. They have him at 66 and a half. So they're going to give him 6 to 7 points for a fantasy floor. Devin Neal's receptions, I think he's going to have a good receiving day because they just kind of pepper the running backs here. He's at about 3.5 receptions, and they're taking the under. So we're going to give him about 3 catches, 60 to 70 yards. That's about a 10-point floor for Devin Neal. I don't expect a touchdown unless it's a long touchdown, but he does feel relatively safe in a PPR league. So it depends on what you need. Do you just want to get your 10 points? I think you take Devin Neal. If you want to go for the 20-pointer, that's where you're looking at Darnell Mooney and Troy Franklin. And Franklin's he's been their best receiver for the last month or two. Franklin actually is the number 2 touchdown odd favorite for Denver, plus 150 for Troy Franklin. His numbers look pretty good as well. His reception total, they have him at 4.5 receptions, so we'll give him 4 as a floor. And then his receiving yards in this one, they have him at 50. So again, about a 9-point floor, better touchdown odds. I do like Troy Franklin. And just let me take a peek here at Darnell Mooney. I do like this matchup for him against the Jets. They have him plus 285 to score. So the worst touchdown odds of your 3 guys here. But his receptions, 3.5, they have him going over. So we're going to give him 4 catches, and then his yards are 42.5. So again, it's kind of the same thing as Franklin, just Franklin's got the better touchdown odds. So if you want to take the safe points, we're going to go Devin Neal. If you want to shoot for that 15 to 20 point banger, I think you watch Troy Franklin tonight on Sunday Night Football. And that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch Troy Franklin on Sunday Night Football. Brian Thomas Jr. Day today, everybody. Please. I need it. All my best balls need it really bad. And when I was looking at the Jags, when we were looking at Bashal Tutin, I noticed Brian Thomas Jr.'s his touchdown odds increased a little bit, plus 195. I think Brian Thomas Jr. Makes a huge difference today. I'm excited to see. I'm strangely a Jaguar fan. I've watched a lot of Jags football this year and last year, and I think this is really exciting. Brenton Strange back, Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, the running game is just really, really impressive. I think the Jags offense is having fun, and Brian Thomas, a little bit of a deep ball element. I think they maybe tried to force him to be a possession receiver. And now that they have Strange and Myers and these other guys back, maybe we see him do more of the vertical stuff that he was scoring touchdowns on last year, and we get him more comfortable with this season. So I'm hoping for a big play or two from BTJ today. Let's go. I'm going to go. They have him going over 3.5 receptions, and Brian Thomas Jr., 45.5 yards. I think I'm going to take over on that. That's minus 113. He's averaging 52.5 yards per game, and he's not been hitting his stride at all. I'm going to go BTJ over 45.5. Let's get a touchdown today, BTJ. Trey Tucker or Scary Terry. I don't have a lot of faith in Scary Terry. His first game back, he's hurt that quad injury twice. You also have Pat Surtain playing again. It's his first game back as well. I don't have a ton of faith in Terry McLaurin. I'm going Trey Tucker today, he's kind of been a target monster the last couple games. And they do a lot of stuff with Trey Tucker where they'll get him the ball quickly, but then he's doing a lot of deep vertical stuff. And the Chargers defense is, subject to lapses sometimes. I think I take the chance here with Trey Tucker. But if you want to go Terry, I don't hate it. He is playing on prime time tonight, but I think I go Trey Tucker. Geno Smith just ends up throwing the ball 40 times a game, so I'll go Trey Tucker and hope for 8 targets tonight. Tootin, Spears, or Singletary? I don't feel great about any of these. Really, this is a struggle running back 2 for us. So I think you go Tajay Spears here and expect, 3 catches, 40, 50 yards, that kind of thing. Maybe he falls into the end zone in garbage time. I think you play Tajay Spears here and just try and get that 8 points. Thoughts on the Seattle-Minnesota 12-point spread is a bit too high. I don't think so. We don't know what we're getting out of Max Brosmer, but Seattle's been kind of stuck in neutral the last few games offensively. I think just the Sam Darnold against his former team. I see Jackson Smith and the Jigba having a day. I see the running game working. You can probably see AJ Barner having a game. I see Seattle having a game today. And I mean, the Vikings couldn't even score a touchdown last week against the Packers with JJ McCarthy. Who knows what Max Brosmer can do? I don't have a lot of faith in it. I'm actually not afraid of the over here. So I think Seattle controls this game. Does it bounce with maximum proficiency? Not sure what we're talking about here, my guy. Good evening. Good morning to Alex. This is his tweet. This is his team. We got the Patriots here. May, Hendo, Harvey, Jefferson, JSN, McBride, Judkins. The bench is Wandale, Woody, Bucky, and Mika. Ooh. Curious, guys, in the chat room. We got a few people in here, you guys. Are we, and I see Frosty saying, are we going to get some Jay Jettis garbage time points? My question is do we start Wandale Robinson over Justin Jefferson right now? I think I do. I think I'm playing Wandale Robinson over Justin Jefferson today. I think you have everything here looking good. Henderson and Harvey. I think Harvey will be fine tonight. Woody, Bucky, they've been kind of frustrating to own. And Bucky's first game back, we don't know what we're going to get. Good job sitting Loveland. I think Emeka Ibuka or Wandale, I would probably play over Justin Jefferson, but it's close. I want to play Judkins against the 49ers. I think you stick with that. But I think I'm going Wandale over Justin Jefferson, which feels crazy to say, but Wandale, man. Wandale just looks good. Vikings do not. But you can leave it. You can leave it as is. We might regret benching Justin Jefferson, who's probably going to get force-fed some targets today. But man, the Wandale floor is pretty safe. He's been playing really well all year. Let me look at the JJ stuff here. Let's take a look at Justin Jefferson. He's plus 260 to score, so not great odds. They have him going under 5.5 catches, so maybe 4 or 5 catches for Jefferson today, and his yards are at 59.5, which is pretty low. So we're going 5 for 60 with Justin Jefferson today. Let's take a peek here at Mr. Wandale Robinson, who is he's plus 230 to score, so a little bit better odds to score for Wandale. Receiving yards are the same, 59.5 for Wandale, and then his receptions are 5.5 as well. So literally the same projection for Jefferson and Wandale, and then people are not as heavy on the under his receptions for Wandale. So I think it's Wandale, man, but I could see Jefferson getting force-fed targets today. David's going with Darnold or Dart. I think you're going to stick with – I do like Sam Darnold today against his former team, but Dart's got that element of the legs that Darnold just doesn't have. And Monday Night Football, I think you're going to want to play Jackson Dart tomorrow night. As much as I like Darnold to throw 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 today, I think you go Jackson Dart tomorrow night. His first game back, I'm going to go Dart. And good morning from California. What do you think? What do you think? I'm a Niners fan at Cleveland today. Who wins? We're at Cleveland today. I think the 49ers cover the 5.5. The weather's going to be a factor today with the snow. So maybe San Fran struggles a little bit with that. But the 49ers, man, it's just CMC, Kittle, Jawan, Ricky Pearsall. I think Purdy has a more efficient game today. Purdy can be I think we see Purdy's legs a little bit of a factor today, scrambling from Myles Garrett. And then just CMC is just the difference maker. So I think the 49ers win by a touchdown, and we're feeling pretty good about their NFC. They got to keep winning games, man. They have a really nice schedule coming up, and they can't lay an egg here because Detroit going to be chomping at the bit. There's a couple other, like the Cowboys are now a serious threat for wild card. This would be a nice win for the 49ers today. And oh my goodness, I appreciate you. 49ers are going to win this game, and hopefully I don't look like an idiot, but thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. You made my day. You made my day today. So thank you so much. You helped me cover my plumber bill today. I had a plumber at my house this morning, fixing a pipe. So thank you. I appreciate it, man. I don't know, man. I don't know if Shedeur Sanders doesn't turn the ball over again, that's going to be a huge bonus. I think Judkins does get the volume today. I just CMC, man. I just don't know. Like Brock Purdy threw tons of interceptions last week, and they still found a way to win the game. So to me, I think good teams clean up. Like good teams are supposed to go into Cleveland and win, and I think the 49ers do it. The Rams are looking ticklish. Okay. We went opposite. Okay. Yeah, I think Jonathan Taylor, just with Daniel Jones and his leg injury, we're going to see Jonathan Taylor probably get 20, 25 carries today. I would be shocked if he's under 80 plus. So that feels pretty good. But that's going to do it for the show today, guys. I appreciate it. I got some lineups and some things to get to. Hopefully you guys enjoy the Sunday football. Not super excited for the Sunday night football game tonight, but we got some good games sprinkled throughout the day. Jacksonville, Tennessee. Hopefully we see some Brian Thomas Jr. stuff. Hopefully you guys get your Justin Jefferson points, and everybody is a little ticklish at some point. So thank you guys. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace.